Our topic for today is accounting for investments. This topic is a major topic and we'll divide our discussion into 4 parts. Part 1 is about concepts, part 2 is investment in debt securities, part 3 is equity securities, and part 4 is other accounting issues. Investments, this topic is governed by PFRS 9 and PAS 32. Ang title of PFRS 9 is Financial Instruments. PAS 32 naman, Financial Instruments Presentation. So, magiging focus natin is on financial instruments. Sir, what is a financial instrument? I-define ko muna and then later meron tayong examples. A financial instrument is any contract that gives rise to a financial asset of one entity and a financial liability or equity of another entity. So medyo technical yung definition pero i-analyze natin. Sabi dyan, a financial instrument is any contract. So it means it's an agreement between two parties that gives rise to a financial asset of one entity and financial liability or equity of another entity. So again, meron tayo two parties. Yung isang party, meron siyang asset and the other party has a liability or equity. So, magbigay tayo ng illustration para mas ma-visualize natin. First example natin, class, is bank deposit. Let's say we are ABC company and then nag-deposit tayo kay BDO for 100,000. So, naaralan natin to in bank reconciliation, entry in the books of ABC, debit cash in bank, credit cash on hand, 100,000. In the books of BDO, meron siyang debit cash, credit deposit liability, 100,000. Sir, bakit naging financial instrument yung bank deposit? Sabi dyan, it's any contract. So it means may agreement si ABC, the depositor, and si BDO, yung bank, that gives rise to a financial asset of one entity. Nasaan, sir, yung financial asset? Yung cash in bank. Okay? And financial liability or equity of another entity, in this case, liability, si BDO nag-recognize siya ng deposit liability. Financial asset, the cash in bank. Financial liability, the deposit liability. Therefore, a bank deposit is an example of a financial instrument. Let's go to the second example, acquisition of shares. Let's say we are ABC and then bumili tayo ng shares of PLDT for 100,000. So, si PLDT, nag-issue sa atin ng shares. Ang tawag natin kay ABC, siya si investor, and si PLDT, siya si issuer. Okay, now, in the books of ABC, ang journal entry niya is debit investment in PLDT shares, credit cash, 100,000. In the books of PLDT, journal entry niya is debit cash, credit ordinary shares, 100,000. Yung ordinary shares, i-discuss natin siya sa second part of the review. Okay? Now, sir, bakit naging financial instrument yung acquisition of shares? Financial asset of one entity, yung financial asset is the investment in PLDT shares, and financial liability or equity of another entity, in this case, equity, the ordinary shares. Okay? So, financial asset is the investment in PLDT shares. Yung financial equity is the ordinary shares. And that's why acquisition of shares is an example of a financial instrument. And take note, whenever mag-i-invest tayo sa shares or bibili tayo ng shares, the investor is entitled to dividends. Okay, so expound natin yung dividends later on. And last example is acquisition of bonds. For example, we are ABC company and then bumili tayo ng bonds ni Meralco, nag-invest tayo for 100,000. And then si Meralco, mag-i-issue sa atin ng bonds. Ang tawag natin kay ABC, siya si investor. Si Meralco naman, siya si issuer. Okay? Journal entry, the books of ABC, debit investment in Meralco bonds, credit cash, 100,000. In the books of Meralco, debit cash, credit bonds payable, 100,000. Yung bonds payable, i-discuss natin siya sa second half of the review. Sir, bakit naging financial instrument yung acquisition of bonds? Financial asset of one entity, nasa yung asset? Investment in Meralco bonds. And financial liability or equity of another entity, in this case, liability, bonds payable. Okay? Financial asset is the investment in Meralco bonds. Financial liability is the bonds payable. That's why acquisition of bonds is a financial instrument. Take note, whenever nag-i-invest tayo sa bonds or bumibili tayo ng bonds, the investor is entitled to interest. Okay? Now, kung i-analyze ating class yung definition, merong three components. Asset, liability, and equity. Since investments yung pinag-aaralan natin today, mag-focus muna tayo sa asset side. Yung liability and equity, next time natin naaralin yan. Okay? So that's why mag-focus muna tayo sa financial asset. Now, in PAS 32, financial asset is defined as any asset that is cash or an equity instrument of another entity or any contractual right to receive cash. Sir, malalim na naman yung definition. So, ganito lang yung ibig sabihin ng class. Financial asset daw is asset that is cash, which is basically yung cash in bank natin. Okay? Or equity instrument of another entity. Sa example natin, yung bumili tayo ng shares ni PLDT. Sino yung another entity? Si PLDT. Okay? So, yun yung investment in PLDT shares. Or any contractual right to receive cash. So, ano ibig sabihin yan? Right to receive cash. Nung bumili tayo ng shares, meron tayong right to receive dividends, which is cash. Nung bumili tayo ng bonds, meron tayong right to receive interest, which is cash. So, basically, ang ibig sabihin ng financial asset, yan daw yung cash in bank, investment in shares, and investment in bonds. Okay? So, that's financial asset. Let's now move on to the most important part of our discussion. Okay, so I want you to listen very carefully. Dapat ma-master nyo yung table na to. Okay? This table is about classification of financial assets. Alam na natin yung definition of financial asset. Nabigay na rin tayo ng mga illustrations. Let's now go to classification. Financial assets can be classified into three. Sulat mo muna and then later i-explain ko. First one is financial asset at amortized cost. Okay, let's call this AC. Next one is financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income. Let's call it FVOCI. And last one is financial asset through fair value through profit or loss or FVPL. Okay, amortized cost, FVOCI, and FVPL. Yun yung three classifications of financial assets. Sir, bakit important na i-classify natin yan? Because magkakaiba sila ng accounting treatment. Okay, sir, how do we know kung ano yung classification? Well, dapat mag-undergo tayo ng two tests. Business model test or BM test and cash flow characteristics test. Okay, so ganito yung class. Pag sinabing business model test, ibig sabihin yan is how the company manages its investments. So, kumbaga, kung ano yung company policy pagdating sa investment. So, later meron akong illustration. Okay? Yun yung business model test. How the company manages its investments. Yung cash flow characteristics test naman, class, basically is the nature of cash flows of the investments. Okay? So, again, business model test, kung paano natin minamanage yung investment. Kapag cash flow characteristics test, ibig sabihin lang yung class, in yung nature of the cash flows. Okay? So let's have an illustration. For example, tayo sa ABC company, and then meron tayong 1 million excess cash. Okay? So yung excess cash, wala tayong paggagamitan, nag-decide tayo, sige, i-invest natin. Okay? I-invest natin. Now, nag-decide tayo, class, na invest siya sa debt securities. Ano yung example ng debt securities? Ito, kanina, yung Meralco bonds. Yung bonds, example siya ng debt security. Pag debt, okay, or bonds, entitled tayo sa interest. Okay, so pwede tayong bumili ng Meralco bonds. Kapag private company, such as Meralco, ang tawag natin diyang class is corporate bonds. Okay? Pag naman nag-invest tayo sa bonds ng government, ang tawag natin dyan, treasury bonds. Okay, so Bureau of Treasury nag-i-issue niyan. Okay, now, ang diskarte natin, ang business model natin, okay, sige, mag-invest tayo ng bonds and then for 5 years, i-hold natin yung bonds para makapag-collect tayo ng interest and principal. Okay, so ulitin ko. invest tayo sa debt securities, pwedeng Meralco bonds, pwedeng government bonds, hold natin for 5 years, and then mag-collect tayo ng interest and principal. Ang tawag sa business model na yung class is hold to collect. Hold to collect. I-hold natin yung bonds, yung debt securities, and then magko-collect tayo ng interest and principal. Okay, yun yung business model. Ano naman yung cash flow characteristics? Yun yung nature. So basically, ang nature niyan is SPPI. Sir, ano yung SPPI? So, ibig sabihin ng SPPI, solely payments of principal and interest. Okay? Kaya SPPI. Solely payments of principal and interest. Kaya ang tawag din sa cash flow characteristics test is SPPI test. Okay? So, in short, kapag ang business model mo is hold to collect, okay? And ang i-collect mo is principal and interest, we will classify the financial asset or the investment as amortized cost. Gets? Okay. Now, what if ang gagawin natin, okay, sige, pili tayo ng bonds, Meralco bonds. I-hold natin for 5 years and then collectahin natin yung interest and principal. But, if there is an opportunity, ibebenta natin to be sold to another entity. Okay? So, basically, ang diskarte natin or ang business model natin, o sige, bili tayo ng bonds, i-hold natin, collect natin yung interest and principal. Pero pag may magandang opportunity, ibenta natin yung bonds na yan. Ang tawag sa business model na yung class is hold to collect and sell. Ayun. Ano yung i-hold natin? Ganun pa rin. Solely payments of principal and interest. So, SPPI pa rin. So, kapag business model natin is hold to collect and sell, and then yung cash flows natin is SPPI, we classify the financial asset as FVOCI or fair value through other comprehensive income. Last. Now, FVPL, actually class, pag tingnan mo yung standards, hindi yan defined. Not defined. Okay, yung business model niyan and yung cash flow characteristics. Okay? Pero nagbigay ng examples. Now, for example, class, tayo sa ABC, may 1 million cash. Pwede tayo mag-invest sa debt securities. Pwede rin tayo mag-invest sa equity securities. Okay? Ano example ng equity securities? Shares. Kanina, sa example natin, yung PLDT shares. So, ang gagawin, ang diskarte ni ABC, yung business model niya, sige, bili tayo ng shares ni PLDT, bili tayo ng shares ni San Miguel Corporation, ni Petron, yan yung malalaking companies. And then, si ABC, i-apply niya yung basic concept in stock trading wherein buy low, we buy low, and sell high. So, pag tingin ni ABC, o sige, yung stock price ni PLDT, mababa, o bibili natin yan. Pag tumaas, ibebenta natin. Buy low, sell high. So, basically, class, kapag ang business model of an entity is, ang tawag natin dyan is held for trading. Okay, nagte-trade tayo. So, in this case, stock trading, okay? And then, so active stock trading, lagay ko dito. And then, we are after short-term profits. We classify the investment as FVPL, okay? Fair value through profit or loss. So, ulitin ko, pag ang business model, held for trading, such as yung stock trading, everyday nagte-trade tayo, okay? Active. And then, kapag tingin natin, bibili natin at lower price, benta natin at higher price, short-term profits yung tawag doon. Okay? So, kapag ganun yung business model natin, FVPL yan. So, that is amortized cost, FVOCI, and FVPL. Sir, bakit nga ba important ulit yung classification? Magkakaiba sila ng accounting treatment. Alright? Now, isa-isay natin class. Punta ka dito sa debt na column. Ano ibig sabihin yan? Pwede ba maging debt security yung mga financial assets natin na yan? Ano example ng debt security? Bonds. Pag debt security, entitled tayo sa interest. Okay? Si amortized cost, pwede maging debt security yan. FVOCI, pwede rin yan. FVPL, pwede rin yan. So basically, lahat sila pwede sila maging debt security. Okay? Let's now go to equity security. Ano example ng equity security? Shares. Si amortized cost, hindi yan pwede maging equity security. FVOCI, pwede. FVPL, pwede. Okay? Punta naman tayo sa measurement. Sabi ko, magkakaiba sila ng accounting treatment. Dito na yung magkakaiba. Okay? Start muna tayo with amortized cost. Amortized cost class, initially, measured yan at fair value plus transaction cost. Okay? FVOCI, fair value plus transaction cost. So, same sila. Pero yung FVPL, only at fair value. Sir, bakit walang transaction cost yan? Kasi class, pag FVPL, tandaan mo, yung transaction cost, expensed outright yan. Okay? Immediately charged to expense. Bakit, sir? Kasi sabi ko kanina, pag FVPL, short term. Pag tumaas yung price, benta mo na. Okay? So, pwedeng it's a matter of days or matter of weeks lang. Okay? Yun yung pag-hold mo dun sa FVPL. Therefore, walang sense na i-capitalize mo pa yung transaction cost tapos i-amortize mo din. Kasi ibibenta mo rin naman agad. Okay, so in that case, fair value lang siya. Transaction cost, diretso expense yan. Gets? Okay. Now, let's go to the subsequent measurement. Every December 31, paano natin sila mini-measure? Kapag amortized cost class, well, obviously, at amortized cost yan, and then we will use the effective interest method. Uy, familiar sir yung effective interest method ah. Naalala niyo yung amortization table? Okay, so yung merong date, merong interest received, interest income, amortization, and carrying amount. Yung amortization table, naaral natin yung before. Yun din yung gagawin natin for amortized cost. Okay? So pag nabasa nyo class, yung effective interest method, dapat una nyo maisip, uy, amortization table yan. Okay? Now, for FVOCI naman class, subsequently, depende. Okay? Sabi ko kanina, yung FVOCI, pwede siyang maging debt, pwede siyang maging equity. Okay? Debt, equity. Both of them, tandaan mo, i-measure natin sila every December 31 at fair value. Laging fair value yan. Okay? So, yung FVOCI, kaya siya FV, kasi i-measure mo yan every December 31 at fair value. Ngayong class, lahat ng changes in fair value, so sulat ko dito, changes in fair value, every December 31, ang term na ginagamit natin dyan is mark to market. MTM, mark to market. Lahat ng changes in fair value, i-recognize natin yung class as Other Comprehensive Income or OCI. Kaya siya tinawag na FVOCI. Alright? Now, ingat ka dito class. Yung OCI na yan, tanda mo, dalawa pinupuntahan yan. Alright? Pupunta yan sa Statement of Comprehensive Income or basically yung Statement of Comprehensive Income, yung change in fair value. Yung change. Okay? Now, pupunta yan sa balance sheet. Okay? Specifically sa shareholders' equity as OCI, doon mo makikita yung cumulative balance. So later, sulat mo muna later, i-apply natin yan. Ulitin ko, pag FVOCI, every end of the year, ima-mark to market mo yan o if-fair value mo. Lahat ng fair value changes sa OCI yan. Dalawa pinupuntahan yan. Yung change, dun sa Statement of Comprehensive Income. Yung cumulative balance sa balance sheet, specifically sa shareholders' equity section. Nandyan yung cumulative or ending balance. Okay, sa balance sheet mo makikita yan. Now, again, pareho yan ha, both debt and equity. Pero ang pag-debt naman class, kailangan i-apply mo rin yung effective interest method. Okay, mag-amortize din tayo pagdating sa debt security. Later, i-apply natin lahat yan. So basically, ganyan yung FVOCI. Last, FVPL. Okay, so end of the year, obviously, fair value to profit or loss at fair value yan. May measure mo rin siya at fair value. Whether, so sulat ko dito, pwede rin siya maging, tama, pwede maging debt yan, pwede maging equity. Okay? Nakalagay dyan, may check. Both debt and equity at fair value yan. Lahat ng changes in fair value. Kung sa FVOCI, sa OCI mo charge, lahat dito, P&L or income statement. So pag sabi kong P&L class, income statement din yan. Kaya siya tinawag na fair value through profit or loss. Okay? Now class, ang term natin pala sa changes in fair value, lagi nyo may encounter yan, is UGL or unrealized gain or loss. Unrealized Okay. Changes in fair value, ang tawag natin dyan, unrealized gain or loss. Alright? So FYI, mamaya, apply natin lahat yan. Okay, so yun yung general rules natin. Nakita mo na yan, sinulat ko sa board. Hindi ko i-erase yan kasi babalikan natin lagi yan. Yun yung general rules. Now, meron tayong exceptions. Dalawa class. So sulat mo muna. First exception natin, if the financial asset is an equity instrument. Okay, equity instrument. Not for trading. Okay. Kasi class, kapag for trading, FVPL agad yan. Okay? Ngayon, pag equity instrument na not for trading, pwede natin siyang i-classify as FVOCI. Okay? Ang tawag dito class is FVOCI by election. Okay? Tayo yung nag-decide. Okay? By election. Alright? Now, yung nandito kanina class, Ang tawag mo dito is mandatory FVOCI. Mandatory. Ulitin ko. Yung kanina example ko, pag hold to collect and sell in SPPI, mandatory FVOCI yan. Ang tawag doon. Ngayon, pag equity instrument siya na not held for trading, pwede mo siyang elect as FVOCI. Ang tawag dyan, FVOCI by election. Sir, ano difference ng dalawa na yan? Ganito yung class. Pag FVOCI na mandatory, meron tayong term na tinatawag na with recycling. Okay? Ito naman, without recycling. Iyon yung big difference nila. Ano sir, ibig sabihin ng with recycling? Pag binenta mo na upon sale or the recognition, pag binenta mo yung FVOCI, lahat ng unrealized gain or loss. Ito. Tama ba yung UGL na yung class? Nasa OCI yan eh. Tama? Makikita mo yun sa balance sheet and statement of comprehensive income. Okay? Pag sinabing with recycling, yung balance mo ng UGL, pwede mo siya i-charge sa P&L. Okay? Pwede mo siya i-recycle to income statement of P&L. Sulat mo na, later apply natin yan. Okay? Pag without recycling, upon sale, okay, yung UGL mo, diretso retained earnings. Hindi mo siya pwedeng i-recycle sa P&L. Okay? Ulitin ko, pag with recycling, pag binenta mo yung UGL, pwede mong i-charge sa P&L. Pag without recycling, pag binenta mo yung UGL, sa retained earnings diretso yan. Last part class. Number 2, second exception natin, if the financial asset qualifies for amortized cost and FVOCI, ito, pag nag-qualify siya sa dalawa na yan, meron pa rin tayong option na i-measure siya at FVPL. Okay? Kahit nag-qualify ka, amortized cost and FVOCI, meron tayong choice na gawin siyang FVPL. Ang tawag natin diyang class is fair value option. Okay? Pag narinig niyo yung fair value option, yun yung ibig sabihin nun. Okay? Sir, bakit allowed yung fair value option? Ito FYI na lang to. No? Sabi sa standards class, yung fair value option is to avoid accounting mismatch. Accounting mismatched. Okay? Yan daw yung reason yan. Pwede ka mag-fair value option to avoid accounting mismatch. Sir, ang lalim naman ng accounting mismatch. I'll give you a simple illustration. For example, tayo sa ABC company. And then, umutang tayo sa bank. Ang first transaction natin, nag-bank loan tayo. Okay? Ngayon, sa books natin class, meron tayong loans payable. Tama? Ngayon, nagbabayad tayo ng interest expense. Okay, which is interest expense, makikita natin siya sa P&L or sa income statement. Okay, so ulitin ko, first transaction natin, umutang tayo kay bank. So, meron tayong loans payable sa books, nagbabayad tayo ng interest kay bank. Yung interest expense, alam natin class, charge mo yun sa income statement or P&L. Now, ang ginawa natin dun sa cash na na-receive natin from the bank loan, bumili tayo ng shares. Classify natin siya as FVOCI. So, alam natin class, pag FVOCI, lahat ng unrealized gain or loss, pupunta siya ng OCI. Tama? Pupunta siya ng, yung FVOCI natin, pupunta ng lahat ng UGL, si-charge mo sa OCI. So, ang ibig sabihin class ng accounting mismatch, for single, so dito, two transactions, yung bank loan, yung interest expense na related, nire-recognize natin sa P&L. Tapos, yung same na cash na na-receive natin from bank loan, binili mo ng FVOCI, lahat ng realized gain or loss, OCI. So, P&L and OCI. Yun yung tinatawag na mismatch. Paano mo siya gagawing matched? Sabi dyan, pwede kang mag-fair value option. So, instead of FVOCI mo siya i-recognize, sabi dyan, pwede mo siyang i-FVPL. Okay? Kasi pag FVPL, lahat ng unrealized gain or loss mo, P&L charge yan. Okay? That's why, yung interest expense mo, P&L, UGL mo, P&L. Para ma-avoid yung accounting mismatch. Ulitin ko, kapag yung financial asset mo, naging qualified as amortized cost or FVOCI, sa illustration natin, FVOCI, magkaka-mismatch kasi P&L yung interest expense, UGL, OCI. Para hindi yan ma-mismatch, mag-fair value option tayo. Gawin nating FVPL instead ng FVOCI. Wherein yung unrealized gain or loss, P&L siya. Parehong P&L na yan. Na-avoid natin yung mismatch. FYI na lang to class ha. In-explain ko lang, pero hindi yan relevant sa problem solving natin. Okay. Medyo mahaba, medyo comprehensive, pero actually, ito lang naman halos yung kailangan nyo matutunan dyan. Sige, let's go to our handouts. Start tayo with illustrative example number 1. So, class, erase ko na tong, ito. Medyo pagkakasyahin ko lang dito sa class yung computation sa board, dito sa portion na to, no? Para hindi natin i-erase yan. Important yan, babalik-balikan natin yan. Okay, illustrative example number 1. Let's read the requirement. Prepare the journal entries on the date of purchase, year-end, and date of sale. Okay, let's read. On January 1, 2025, Pinnacle Company purchased 12,000 shares of ABC Corporation for 100,000. So, bumili, 100,000. Taxes and licenses incurred amounted to 5,000. Yung taxes and licenses, ang tawag natin diyang class, transaction costs. Okay? The equity securities meet the definition for held for trading. Uy, held for trading. Ibig sabihin, FVPL yung classification natin. Accordingly, Pinnacle classified the investment as subsequently measured at fair value through profit or loss or FVPL. Kahit hindi sabihin yung sentence na yun. Kung nabasa mo pa lang yung meet the definition of held for trading, dapat alam mo na FVPL siya. Gets? Okay. Now, yung FVPL, alam natin class, initially, measured at fair value. Subsequently, if fair value mo yan, lahat ng mark-to-market changes or changes in fair value, PNL natin i-charge yan. Okay? Now, on December 31, the shares are quoted at 10 pesos per share. On January 3, half of the investment was sold. Okay, so tingnan natin yung mga journal entries. Dumo tayo sa January 1, 2025. Gagawin ko dyan class, debit FVPL, or pwede mong ilagay dyan, debit treasury or trading securities, or pwedeng debit held for trading. So maraming terms na pwedeng gamitin. Pero idiretso na natin, debit FVPL na gamitin natin. Debit FVPL, how much? Lagay mo dyan, sa first sentence, nakalagay 100,000. Debit taxes and licenses expense, okay, how much? 5,000. Credit cash, 105,000. So, take note class na dito, hindi mo kinapitalize yung taxes and licenses. Because sabi ko kanina, lahat ng transaction costs related to FVPL, diretso expense. Bakit ulit diretso expense? Kasi short term yan. Baka in a matter of days na, ibebenta mo rin yan. Okay, huwag mo na i-capitalize at i-amortize. Diretso expense ka na. Kaya class, ganito yung naging entry natin. Gets? Okay, so let's go to December 31, 2025. Okay, so sabi niyo class, sa second paragraph, on December 31, the shares are quoted at 10 pesos per share. Ilang shares yung bili natin? Sabi sa first sentence, 12,000. Tama? So 12,000 times 10, that is 120,000. So kung iti-account mo yan, FVPL, initially meron tayong 100,000, and then this ending balance, December 31, 12,000 times 10 daw, pesos per share, 120,000. Okay, solve for X. So ibig sabihin, X natin, 20,000. So, ibig sabihin, nag-increase ng 20,000 yung fair value of the FVPL. So, ano entry natin dyan? Nag-increase, debit FVPL, credit unrealized gain. Gain siya kasi tumaas yung value. Okay, saan mo ilalagay? I-charge yung unrealized gain. P&L. Alright? How much? 20,000. So, yun yung entry natin on December 31. Okay? Take note class na nakalagay, unrealized. Pag sinabi, ano ba difference ng unrealized versus realized? Pag realized, nabenta mo na. Ito, hindi mo pa nabibenta yan. Okay? Nag-mark to market ka lang. Ibig sabihin ng mark to market, nag-fair value ka lang sa end of the year. Kaya ang term na gagamitin mo is unrealized. Okay? Now, on January 3, 2026, so lagyan natin, January 3, 2026, half of the investment was sold at 15 pesos per share. Transaction cost, 3,000. So, compute natin class yung proceeds natin. So, ano ba yung half of the investment? Yung total shares natin, 12,000. Half is 6,000. Okay, binenta daw for 15 pesos per share. How much yung class? 6,000 times 15. That is 90,000. Pero nag-incur tayo ng transaction cost. So, tayo nagbenta, minus mo yan. Tayo nag-incur niyan. So, na-receive lang natin class from the sale is 87,000. Okay, entry natin upon sale, debit cash, 87,000. Credit FVPL, kalahati daw yung binenta natin. Tama ba? Ano yung balance natin class sa FVPL? Ending balance natin noong December 31, 120,000. 120,000 times 50%, 60,000. Balancing figure mo dyan class, credit gain on sale. 87,000 minus 60,000, 27,000. Okay? Now, yung gain on sale na yan class, ang tawag naman dyan, realized gain on sale. Ulitin ko, pag unrealized, galing yan sa mark to market every end of the year. Pag sinabing realized, once nabenta mo na yung investment mo. Okay? So, yun yung journal entries natin. So take note class, to compute for the gain on sale, ang kinumpare lang natin yung proceeds na na-receive natin, which is 87,000, and then yung 50% of the market value last year. So yan yung entry natin. Okay. So that is illustrative example number 1. Let's go to illustrative example number 2. Okay, requirement is prepare the journal entries on the date of purchase. Ganun pa rin, journal entries. So tingnan natin class, what's the difference? So on January 1, 2025, Mr. Accounting Company purchased 100,000 bonds at 98. Uy, kanina sabi ko, and I think ano rin siya. Continue muna natin. So 100,000 bonds at 98. Ibig sabihin 98, 98%. Okay? So 100,000 times 98%, lagay mo dyan, 98,000. So yun yung ibig sabihin nun. The bonds mature on January 1, 2029 and pay 12% annual interest. So pag bonds or debt security, may interest yan. Meron tayong interest income. Commission paid on the acquisition, 10,000. Commission, transaction cost. Ibig sabihin yan. The objective of Mr. Accounting's business model is to sell investments in the near term, short term, to take advantage of fluctuations in fair values for short-term profit taking. Ano ibig sabihin nun? FVPL. Accordingly, the bonds were classified as held for trading securities or FVPL. Kahit hindi sabihin yung sentence na yun, based lang doon sa sinabi niya na to take advantage of fluctuations in fair values for short-term profit taking, FVPL na agad yung classification mo doon. Okay? Now class, kung makikita mo dito sa illustrative example 1, shares yan. Ito yung ginawa natin. Equity. Sa illustrative example 2, bonds naman. Okay? Kasi yung FVPL, pwede siyang bonds or pwede siyang debt, pwede siyang equity. Okay? So, ano yung mga journal entries natin? Tingnan natin class. And then, basahin muna natin yung second paragraph. On December 31, the bonds are quoted at 101, ibig sabihin 101%. On January 2, the bonds were sold at 110, ibig sabihin 110%. Okay, let's take a look at the journal entries. January 1, 2025, debit FVPL. Okay, so sa first sentence, again, 98%, ibig sabihin 98,000 yan. And then, commission, debit commission expense for 10,000, hindi mo i-capitalize yan. Okay, charge to expense yan. Credit cash, 108,000. Okay, so walang problema. So that's your entry on January 1, 2025. December 31, 2025, tignan natin class. So kung gagawa ka ng T-account for FVPL, beginning balance natin is 98,000. Sabi dyan, on December 31, the bonds are quoted at 101. So yung face value is 100,000 times 1.01. So 100,000 times 1.01, lagay mo dyan class 101,000. Nakuha nyo ba yan? So 100,000 times 1.01, 101,000 yung fair value niya. So ibig sabihin, tumaas yung fair value. For how much? Nag-increase siya ng 3,000. Okay? Entry natin, debit FVPL. Credit unrealized gain na i-charge natin to P&L, 3,000. Alright? So ganyan siya. And take note class na interest bearing yan. Nag-earn tayo ng interest. Sabi dyan, kung titingin ka sa second sentence, the bonds mature on January 1, 2029 and pay 12% annual interest beginning January 1. So, ibig sabihin class, meron tayong accrued interest sa December 31 kasi January 1 nagbabayaran. So, ano yung how much? 100,000 times 12%, 12,000. So, mag-e-entry pa tayo, debit interest receivable, credit interest income, 12,000. Okay? So, kanina, kasi equity security yung illustrative example 1, walang interest yan. Ito, debt security, meron tayong interest. Okay? Debit interest receivable, credit interest income, 12,000. Because sa pinag-uusapan natin, December 31. January 1 yung bayaran. Okay. On January 2, 2026, so January 1, kinabukasan, January 1, 2026, na-receive natin yung interest. Debit cash, credit interest receivable, 12,000. Alright? And then, sabi dyan class, on January 2, 2026, binenta. The bonds were sold at 110. 100,000 times 1.1, lagay mo dyan, 110,000. Iyon yung cash na na-receive natin. Binenta natin, debit cash, 110,000. Credit FVPL, ano yung kay credit mo? Binenta lahat. O, tanggalin mo na yan. 101,000. Credit gain on sale, okay? 110 minus 101, 9,000. Okay? So, yan yung entry natin upon sale. So, again, pag gain on sale, realized yan. Pag yung mark to market, unrealized yung term natin. Pero, whether unrealized or realized, lahat yan sa P&L natin i-charge. Okay? So, yun yung kaya siya tinawag na fair value through profit or loss lahat. Whether realized or unrealized, P&L lahat yan. Okay? So, again. Now, yun yung first two illustrative examples natin. Let's go to main problem number 1. Main problem number 1. So, let's erase ko na to. Go to our handouts. Main problem number 1. Apply pa rin natin. FVPL pa rin yan. So, let's see. Okay, question 1. How much is the realized gain or loss? Pag realized, nagbenta tayo. Question number 2. The amount of unrealized gain on these securities. Okay. Ludovico Company provides the following information about the cost and market value of its equity securities held for trading. Pag held for trading, FVPL yan, automatic. Okay, yung cost, basically, kung magkano natin binili. So, meron tayong 7 na securities. Okay? And then yung next column, cost, again, kung magkano natin binili. Next column, market value, December 31, 2020. And the next column, December 31, 2021. Okay, on December 31, 2021, security 3 was sold for 1 million. And then question 1, how much is the realized gain or loss on the sale of security 3? Ganito gagawin ko dyan, class. So, sa main problem number 1, this is still FVPL. Tama? Ngayon, magti-T account ako dyan. T account lang kailangan mo dyan. Okay, so T account tayo for FVPL. Tama ba, class? Originally, binili natin siya at 4.2 million. Lagay mo dyan, 4.2 million. Yan yung initial measurement. Okay, so yung fair value niya, nung binili mo siya, 4.2 million. Okay, that's the initial measurement. Now, so, December 31, 2020, mag-mark to market tayo kasi FVPL yan. So, tama ba, class? 4.4 million yung end of the year. Tama? So, 4.4 million. Therefore, for 4.2 to 4.4, ibig sabihin, meron tayong unrealized gain na 200,000. 200,000 unrealized gain in 2020. Kung yan yung tanong, hindi naman yan yung tanong sa atin. Okay? Ang tanong sa actually sa question number 2, unrealized gain daw in 2021. Pag ang tanong is 2020, 200,000 na ganyan yung sagot mo. Okay. December 31, 2021, security 3 was sold for 1 million. Ngayon, ang gagawin ko sa question 1, binenta raw si security 3. Tama? Pwede ko siya i-journal entry. Debit cash, 1 million. And then, credit FVPL, security 3. How much yung market value ni security 3 noong December 31, 2020? Tama ba, class? Tingin ka dun sa third column, nakita mo yung 1.1 million? Tama? Obviously, binenta daw siya December 31, 2021. So, syempre, i-recognize mo na bago ka mag-mark to market sa 2021. Gets? So, ang tatanggalin ko dito is 1.1 million. Debit cash, 1 million. Credit FVPL, 1.1 million. Debit loss, 100,000. Okay? Or basically, difference ng proceeds na cash na 1 million and then yung carrying amount niya is 1.1 million, debit loss on sale, 100,000. Answer natin, class, for question number 1 is letter A, 100,000 loss. Ulitin ko, baka nandito ka doon. Ano daw yung realized gain or loss nung nagbenta ka ng security 3? Take note, ang tanong sa'yo is 12/31. Nagbenta 12/31/2021. Okay? Pero take note, ito, class, yung credit natin 12/31/2020. Okay? So, wag mo na i-mark to market kasi bebenta mo na rin naman eh. So, debit cash, 1 million. Credit FVPL, 1.1 million, which is yung market value last year. Balancing figure, 100,000. Loss, answer natin is letter A. Question number 2. The amount of unrealized gain to be shown in 2021. Again, pag unrealized gain in 2020, sagot mo 200,000. Pero 2021 yung tanong. Tama ba, class? Binenta na natin si security 3, so tatanggalin na natin siya dito. 1.1 million. Tama? Ngayon, mag-mark to market tayo, 12/31/2021. Compute natin, class, yung market value dun sa last column. Nakita mo ba yung 4.6 million? Nakita mo yun? 4.6. Kaya lang, nandyan si security 3. Binenta na natin. So, 4.6 million, tanggalin mo si security 3 na 1 million, 3.6 million na lang. Nakuha niyan. So, ulitin ko, mag-mark to market tayo, 12/31/2021. Pero binenta mo na si security 3. Ang total market value, including security 3, is 4.6 million. Tanggalin mo si security 3 na 1 million, 3.6 na lang yan. 3.6 million. Okay, so solve for x. Compute natin, class. 3.6 million. So, 4.4, nabawasan na 1.1, that is 3.3. Pero naging 3.6 siya. Ibig sabihin, class, meron tayong unrealized gain na 300,000. 300,000 unrealized gain in 2021. Okay, answer mo, letter C. So, journal entry mo dyan, debit FVPL, credit unrealized gain, 300,000. Okay? So, for question number 2, final answer mo is letter C. Alright? That's for main problem number 1. Now, Okay na tayo sa FBPL. Okay na tayo dyan. Let's go to illustrative example number 3 naman, class. Punta ka sa illustrative example. Let's go to number 3. Okay? Illustrative example number 3. Alright, let's read. Prepare the journal entries. On January 1, 2025, CPA Company purchased 12,000 shares of ABC for 100,000. Commission paid to the broker amounted to 5,000 yung commission. Transaction cost yan. On December 31, the shares are quoted at 10 pesos per share. On January 3, all the shares were sold for 174,000. Prepare the journal entries, pero meron tayong 2 scenarios. Scenario number 1, the business model of the entity in managing the financial asset is to collect contractual cash flows that are solely payment of principal and interest to sell the bonds in the open market. Uy, ano ibig sabihin nun? Hold to collect and sell. Alright? So, ibig sabihin, class, yung illustrative example number 3 natin is FVOCI. Yun yung scenario 1. Scenario number 2, the shares do not meet the definition of held for trading. Management made an irrevocable choice to subsequently measure the shares at FVOCI. Ito siya. FVOCI by election. Yun siya. Okay? Sabi dyan, the shares do not meet the definition of held for trading, so not for trading. And then, management made an irrevocable choice to subsequently measure at FVOCI. FVOCI by election. So, ibig sabihin, class, yung scenario 1 natin, journal entry natin yan. Scenario 1 natin is FVOCI na mandatory. Okay? Mandatory. Scenario 2 natin, class, is FVOCI by election. Okay? Ano yung difference sila? Okay, so ganito lang yung class. January 1, 2025, tingnan natin yung journal entries. For both scenarios, magkamukha lang yung entry. Debit, FVOCI. Credit, cash. This time, how much yan? 100,000 yung binayad and then merong commission na 5,000 actually, 105,000 yan. Because kapag FVOCI, yung transaction cost, kinakapitalize mo yan. Unlike FBPL, expense yung transaction cost. So yung commission, isasama mo yan dito sa FVOCI. Gets? Okay. Now, let's go to December 31, 2025. Mag-T account tayo. So yung FVOCI natin, i-measure natin yan at fair value. Tama? So initially, meron tayong 105,000. On December 31, compute natin, class. Sabi dyan, on December 31, the shares are quoted at 10 pesos per share. So 12,000 yung binili natin times 10. That is 120,000. Therefore, nag-increase ng 5,000 yung FVOCI natin. So entry, debit, FVOCI. Credit, unrealized gain, pero i-represent mo yan sa OCI or as OCI, 5,000. Kanina, yung FVPL natin sa P&L, sa income statement. This time, FVOCI sa other comprehensive income. So, kung makikita yung OCI na yan, andun. Yung change na yan, nandun sa statement of comprehensive income. Okay? Yung ending balance yan or cumulative, nandun sa shareholders' equity. Okay? Now, tignan natin, class. Dito na magkakaiba yan. No? Sa scenario 1, na mandatory, nagbenta, tama? On January 3, all the shares were sold for 174,000. Ganito yung class. Scenario 1 natin na mandatory, nakikita ko dito, mandatory. And then scenario 2 natin is by election. Again, ang difference nila kapag mandatory with recycling. Lagyan natin with recycling. Kapag naman by election without recycling. Ano ibig sabihin niyan, sir? Ganito lang yan. Pag nagbenta ka, okay, dito muna tayo sa with recycling. Entry mo dyan, class, sa January 3, 2026. Debit cash. How much natin binenta? All the shares were sold for 174,000. 174,000. Credit, FVOCI na 120,000. Pero take note, class, na yung UGOCI na yan, yung unrealized gain natin, na 5,000, nasaan yung class? Nandun yan sa shareholders' equity. Tama? Yung FVOCI na yan, sa asset side. Asset, nasa balance sheet yan. Lahat to, asset na. Tama? Ngayon, yung UGOCI, napupunta na sa shareholders' equity. So, pareho yan, balance sheet account. Balance sheet account pareho yan. Tama? Pag nagbenta ka, kailangan i-recognize mo din yan. Therefore, meron kang debit unrealized gain, OCI, 5,000. Ganyan yung journal entry natin. Okay? Sorry, 5,000 ba? 15,000 ba? Sorry, 15,000. Sorry, mali tayo ng amount. So, dapat 15,000 yan. Okay. So, kinurek ko lang. Ulitin ko, class. Ang difference ng FBPL and FVOCI, Pag FVOCI, dalawa yung pinupuntahan sa balance sheet. Merong asset and merong equity. Kasi pag FVPL, lahat yung PNL. Okay? So, ang difference nila, pag nagbenta ka, tatanggalin mo rin yung related na unrealized gain or loss. In this case, credit, ide-debit mo yan. Tatanggalin mo yan. Okay? Yung 120, tanggalin mo yan. Ang balancing figure niyang class, 174,000 plus 15,000 minus 120,000, 69,000. So, since with recycling yan, pwede mong yung gain or loss mo, idiretso mo sa PNL. Credit gain on sale, which is ipe-present natin sa PNL, 69,000. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng with recycling. Okay? Ngayon, para mas makita nyo, gawin natin yung without recycling. Debit cash, same, 174,000. Debit UGOCI, 15,000. Credit FVOCI, 120,000. Credit, pag nagbenta ka, diretsong retained earnings. Credit RE, 69,000. Yun ang difference sila. Kapag mandatory, pag with recycling, pupunta ng PNL yan pag nagbenta ka. Pero kapag by election, without recycling, retained earnings diretso yan. Yun lang yung difference ng mandatory FVOCI and FVOCI by election. Okay? FYI pala class. Kapag ginamit mo yung exceptions na yan, okay? Yung FVOCI by election and fair value option, irrevocable na yan. No? Irrevocable. Wala nang bawian. Hindi pwedeng, okay, sige, FVOCI by election ako, tapos babawiin ko. Walang ganon. Mandatory yan pag inelect mo yung FVOCI by election and fair value option. So, FYI. Okay? So, yun yung class difference ng with recycling and without recycling. Okay. Let's go to main problem number. Teka, check ko lang class ha. I think dun tayo sa number 3. Ba? So, main problem number 2. Okay? Main problem number 2. Main problem number 2. Okay? Sige. So, madali lang to. Main problem number 2. Tingnan natin class. Okay. Question is, okay, valuation allowances of December 31, 2021 should be published with the corresponding charge against. Okay, let's read the given. In 2021, Kim Corporation purchased securities, and on December 31, the following had equity securities. Okay, in current assets, security X, security Y. In non-current assets, security Q and security R. Meron tayong cost and then merong market. So, meron ding unrealized gain or loss. So, given na. Okay, so yung unrealized gain or loss, which is basically the difference between cost and yung market value. Security X and Y are classified as held for trading. Uy, si X and Y, held for trading siya. Ibig sabihin, FVPL. And securities Q and R are irrevocably designated as FVOCI. FVOCI by election. Okay, irrevocable yan. Tama? FVOCI. So, lahat ng mark-to-market changes pag FVPL, PNL yan. Lahat ng mark-to-market changes pag FVOCI, OCI yan. Valuation allowances, ibig sabihin ng valuation allowances, pag nag-mark-to-market ka daw, should be published with the corresponding. So, tingin ka dun ka sa third column, unrealized gain or loss. Tama ba si Security X and Y, meron siyang loss na 25,000? Tama? Si Security Q and R naman, meron siyang loss na 35,000. Alam natin, kapag FVPL, Security X and Y, PNL diretso yan. Si 35,000 naman, OCI diretso yan. Kaya sagot mo dyan class, letter C, income or yung income statement, PNL din yun. 25,000, stockholders equity, that is, yung OCI sa stockholders equity yan ha, shareholders equity section ng balance sheet. Okay? 35,000. Letter C yung sagot natin. 25, 35, PNL, and OCI. Okay, so yan na siya. Simple lang for main problem number 2. Easy. Okay, next is, diretso naman tayo class sa theory questions. Okay, theory questions 1 to 15. Mabilis lang yan. Theory number 1, a financial instrument. Uy, financial instrument is any contract that gives rise to, punta ka dun sa DOG, financial asset of one entity, and financial liability or equity of another entity. DOG yan. Okay, so again, yung liability and equity sa second half of the review natin siya i-discuss. So DOG for theory number 1. Theory number 2, all of the following are regarded as financial instruments. Deposits held by a financial institution or yung bank deposit, yes. Ordinary shares, yes. Equity instrument yan. Raw materials, inventories, hindi yan. Kasi kapag sinabi mong financial instrument, okay, or financial asset, dapat meron, it's either cash, equity, or may contractual right to receive cash. Wala namang contractual right to receive cash yung raw materials na yan. Wala yan, yung mga ganyan. PPE, wala din yan. Accounts receivable, meron. Kasi meron tayong right to receive cash from the customer. Okay? Sa payable naman, right, yung obligation to pay naman yun, liability. So, ang tanong sa atin is financial instrument. 1 yes, 2 yes, 3 no, 4 no, 5 yes. Answer is boy. Okay? Number 3, a financial asset is any asset that is cash, equity instrument, and contractual right to receive cash. So, incorrect. Alin daw yung incorrect? Dog yung mali dyan. Sabi dyan sa dog class, contractual right to exchange financial assets or financial liabilities with another entity under conditions that potentially unfavorable. So, FYI na lang, actually may isa pang definition sa standards, no? Pag financial asset, tandaan mo class, dapat yan favorable. Okay? Kasi alam natin sa accounting, pag asset, meron tayong economic benefits. Kaya ang nagpamali dyan yung word na unfavorable. Dapat yan favorable. Okay? Dog yung mali dyan. Letter D yung sagot natin. Number 4, a financial liability is any liability that is a contractual obligation. Again, yung liability, next time natin di-discuss yan. Number 1, to deliver cash. Tayo naman ang babayad. Tama yan. To exchange financial assets or liabilities under conditions that are potentially unfavorable. Tama rin yan. Letter C yung sagot natin. Pag asset, favorable. Kasi economic benefits. Pag liability, unfavorable. Okay, letter C for number 4. Number 5, under PFRS 9, which of the following is not a category of financial assets? Amortized cost, yes. FVPL, FVOCI, yes. Letter C, walang ganyan. Through accumulated profit or loss, walang ganyan. Okay, letter C yung hindi category. Okay, letter C for number 5. Number 6, what is the correct valuation approach for financial asset? Punta ka dun sa letter C. Okay? Not held for collection at fair value and held for collection at amortized cost. Ano ibig sabihin nun, sir? Pag held to collect, amortized cost yan. Okay? Pag not held to collect, pag held for trading, fair value yan. Okay? Yun yung ibig sabihin ng letter C. Number 7, under PFRS 9, which type of financial instrument is subject to business model test and cash flow characteristics test? Cash flow characteristics, SPPI, or principal and interest. Ano ba class yung principal and interest? Tama ba? Debt securities or bonds? Tama. Kaya sagot mo dyan, letter C, debt securities. Kapag kasi equity securities, wala namang interest yun. Okay, walang interest yun. So, debt securities yung sagot natin dyan. Letter C. Number 8, under PFRS 9, entities are required to measure financial assets at fair value or amortized cost based on the following, except letter A, business model, yes, kinoconsider natin yan. B, whether the financial assets are debt or equity, hindi natin kinoconsider yan. Letter C, contractual cash flow characteristics, tama din yan. So, para malaman natin yung classification, again, may dalawang tests. Business model, which is letter A, and cash flow characteristics, which is letter C. Yung boy yung mali dyan. Okay? Technically, mali din yung dog, no? Kasi all of these are considered. Pero boy yung isagot natin. Ha? Letter B. Number 9, debt investments that meet the business model and cash flow characteristics test are reported at. Okay, so again, business model, cash flow characteristics test, amortized cost. Letter C. Number 10, under PFRS 9, what is the principle for recognition of financial asset? Punta ka dun class sa boy, no? Sa boy. Sabi sa PFRS 9, a financial asset is recognized when the entity becomes a party to the contractual provisions of the instrument. Kung maalala mo class, contract yan. Okay? Ibig sabihin may dalawang parties. So, i-recognize mo yung financial asset once meron na kayong contract ng two parties. Letter B or boy. Number 11, at what amount is a financial asset or liability measured on initial recognition? Ito. Siyempre, letter D yan. Fair value. For items that are not measured at fair value through profit or loss, transaction costs are also included in the initial measurement. So, ibig sabihin niyang class, lahat daw, yung amortized cost and FVOCI, fair value plus transaction cost. Lahat naman yan at fair value. Okay? Nagkakaiba lang, pag FVPL, expense mo yung transaction cost. Kaya sabi diyan, fair value for items that are not measured. Lahat daw ng hindi FVPL, which basically yung amortized cost and FVOCI, transaction costs are included or i-capitalize natin. Dog for number 11. Number 12, an entity purchased shares of another entity and classified the investment as FVPL. The entity should report these trading securities, ang ibang tawag sa FVPL, trading securities, kasi held for trading siya, at, O, alam natin class, yung mark to market yan. Lahat, changes, pupunta sa P&L. Okay, letter C, fair value with holding gains and losses included in earnings. Yung holding gains and losses, yan din yung unrealized gain and losses. Punta siya sa P&L. Letter C for number 12. A debt investment shall be measured at FVOCI. Punta ka dun sa, isa-isa natin yung choices. FVOCI, alin daw dito? A, when the debt investment is held for trading, mali, FVPL yan. When the debt investment is not held for trading by irrevocable designation, actually, dog yung sagot dyan. Nakalagay, shall be measured. Mandatory FVOCI, ibig sabihin yan. Sabi sa D, when the business model is to collect contractual cash flows and to sell the financial assets. Okay, letter D yung best answer dyan. Dog. Okay, number 14, for equity investments at FVOCI, which of the following market changes are recognized in earnings? Pag FVOCI class, lahat ng mark-to-market mo, OCI. Ang pupunta lang sa earnings or sa P&L, pag binenta mo na. Lahat na ng realized gains or losses. Boy yung sagot mo dyan, okay? Ang tanong is earnings, P&L yan, or income statement. Sagot mo dyan, realized gains and losses. Yung dog, huwag mo sasagot yung dog kasi yung unrealized gains and losses, pupunta yan sa OCI. So ulitin ko, pag FVOCI, lahat ng unrealized gains and losses, OCI. Lahat ng realized gains and losses, pag nagbenta ka na, P&L na yun. Number 15, a net unrealized loss in an entity's portfolio of FVOCI shall be reflected in the current financial statement as, punta ka sa dog, again, component of other comprehensive income, which is shareholders' equity. Okay? Shareholders' equity sa balance sheet natin. Ayan, that's for number 15. And FYI pala class, FVPL, since short term yan, presented yan as current assets. Okay? Current assets. Yung amortized cost and FVOCI, usually matagalan yan. No? So, pag silent, non-current yan. Amortized cost and FVOCI, non-current assets. FVPL, current assets. Okay, so we're done with concepts. Part 1 of investments.